Let us walk through the cost flows again by way of journal entries, which is our cost accumulation procedure. Raw materials purchased would be a debit to raw materials inventory and a credit to accounts payable if on credit, or if not, a credit to cash. The issue of raw materials from the storeroom to production based on a material requisition is a debit to work in process inventory for direct materials and a debit to overhead for the indirect materials, while reducing a raw materials inventory with a credit. The use of labor based on time tickets is a debit to work in process inventory for direct labor and a debit to overhead for indirect labor, while recognizing a liability if unpaid, or if paid, a credit to cash. While direct materials and direct labor are charged to work in process at actual costs because they are traceable to the product, charging overhead to work in process inventory is through a predetermined application rate, rather than actual overhead incurred because it is an indirect cost to the product and has a fixed cost element, and therefore only allocable to production units rather than traceable to them. The budgeted overhead application rate is called normal costing, as opposed to actual costing. The charges for these factors of production are to a single work in process inventory account for job order costing, and several work in process inventory accounts for process costing, as cost of partially completed units move from one processing department to the next. The indirect cost is applied to jobs and processes with a credit to the overhead account, while actual overhead is accumulated as a debit. Actual overhead is accumulated by various credits to accounts such as accrued liabilities, prepaid expenses, and the like. As products are completed, their accumulated production cost is debited to finished goods inventory while reducing the work in process inventory with a credit. As products are sold, their cost of production is debited to cost of goods sold while reducing the finished goods inventory with a credit. The operating expenses are recorded as usual, but these are just two examples of those journal entries.